Smashborg Winter season was a stacked tournament in Sarpsborg, Norway that happened this early January. Along with myself, the tournament featured Big Chungus, Hope, Schmixtape, Ambil, Whoopi, and many more notable Nordic players. Even though I was the favorite to win the tournament, I wasn't feeling that confident going into the event. Players in the Nordics had been getting better, and I hadn't personally practiced that much going into the event. I knew I could still win, since before the tournament I had lost to two Nordic players before, Gus and Izoxi. I arrived to Norway with the Finnish squad early Friday, so we could have time to explore Oslo a little bit before going to Sarpsborg, a city we had heard horror stories of. Oslo was a great experience. Simnil and Ambil gave us a great tour of Oslo, even if the weather was a bit suspicious. Later on, we arrived to the tourney and we got to check out the venue. It was really spacious with a lot of rooms and a great viewing area. The venue also offered snacks and real food like chili con carne. On Friday, only crews were happening and I was participating in it with the Finnish crew. Unfortunately, most of the Finnish top players couldn't make the tourney, so Finland was basically playing with its E team. We won our first set against one of the Norwegian teams pretty nicely. We had an early lead, but slowly the Norwegian team started to make a comeback because of Simnil, one of the best Little Macs in Europe. I managed to clutch it out in the end though. Next round we had to play against the main Norwegian team, which featured pretty much the top 5 of Norway. We had a rocky start. Whoopi was kind of destroying our team. I ended up taking 9 stocks to compensate, but in the end, we still lost. I still had a lot of fun competing in crews. Saturday didn't have much. Only pools that were round robin this time. Unfortunately, my pool matches were not streamed. Also, there were doubles later in the day. I was teamed with a good friend of mine from the UK, Minimo. Pools went mostly smoothly. I actually lost my very first game of the pool to Sherfresh, a Norwegian Roy player. I lost game 1 with Crom, but then I ended up making the switch to Roy, winning the next 2 games convincingly. I also had to play Splarf in my pool, a good Kazuya player from Norway. Kazuya can be a very scary tournament character, but in a best of 3 that character becomes the best in the game. Thankfully, I did not get 0 to defted, or die early in general, which meant I managed to win the set 2-0. Me and Minimo also managed to win doubles. It was our first time teaming, but our synergy was actually really good. The only thing missing was pretty much team combos, which we can work on for next time. The Wolf's Chrome team is really broken, since Wolf is a really good support, while Chrome can just kind of go in and destroy everyone with big hitboxes. I also got this really sick recovery during doubles.
Wolf having a lot of ability as well, so I feel like Wolf and Chrome are going to be flying around the stage, putting up disjoints all over.
It was time for the main day, Sunday. Going into it, I was feeling kind of weird since I went to a club the previous day with some of my Smasher friends. We ended up going to sleep around 4 AM, which meant I only got around 4 hours of sleep. My bracket was still looking okay. I had matchups that I was fairly confident in. It didn't start off well though. I ended up losing to Tylon, a Terry player from Sweden. To be honest, recently I felt kind of uncomfortable versus Terry, so it's definitely a matchup I need to work on a lot, especially after this loss. My advantage state was definitely lacking in this set, which made me get a lot of late kills, and that's why he got to play with Go a lot. I actually ended up losing the set game 5 due to Power Geyser that killed me at 45%. Because of the last stock kill screen, my DI change wasn't inputted and I died early like that. This meant, to win the tournament, I would have to win around 13 sets in losers. I knew it'd be really doable, especially since I could get more warmed up and gain momentum through playing multiple sets in a row. My first loser sets went pretty smoothly. I managed to cleanly beat Dato King Trio, had a close 3-1 versus a friend of mine, Canary Bird, who I actually lost a set to in 2019 at a big Norwegian tournament. After that I actually 9-stock victorious, Swedish Luigi, my most dominant set in losers so far. Next up I played Tsun on stream. There isn't much to say about this set honestly, I destroyed Tsun really cleanly. Joker is one of my best matchups, plus I felt like Tsun messed up a lot of edge guards, the main thing that makes the matchup even for Joker. I'm happy how hard I pushed advantage in the set though. I played pretty well. Next up was Ton, a great Palutena/Aegis from Norway. It was a pretty similar set to Tsun since I demolished him as well. He started off with Aegis and actually was doing pretty well, but I got a lot of early kills due to Aegis being really fragile and him messing up a bit. I felt like these early deaths really tilted him, which is why I managed to control neutral better as the set went on. With this win, I managed to make it to top 8 after a 5-set losers run. It wasn't over yet though, the hardest part was only up ahead. In top 8, I had to play Marvin, a Sora player from Sweden. I was actually projected to play him in winners, but because of my loss to Tylon, I played him in losers top 8 instead. I've never felt too comfortable in the Sora matchup. I actually had an early loss versus Nero, a German Sora player at Arcadia Smash 3, which was one of my worst performances ever. I still feel a bit uncomfortable in the matchup, but after exploring some concepts and warming up with Hope's Sora, I felt pretty good going into it. Game 1 actually started off pretty badly. Marvin played a lot different from what I expected, more aggressive with his nairs and spells than most other Soras. I also got reversaled a lot from ledge jump nair, but by playing solid neutral and avoiding his kill moves last stock, I actually managed to bring it back. My ledge trapping and corner pressure were really good last stock, even though I messed up a jab back air and a ledge trump. In game 2, I was still a bit uncomfortable, and I was forcing my own game plan maybe a bit too much, and I also got gimped really early on my second stock. The game was still pretty close, which made me feel confident for the rest of the set. Mari went to get something in between the games, which allowed me to take a breather and reconsider my game plan. I knew I just kinda had to wait for him to come in and then outspace him, which is what I did for games 3 and 4. Avoiding Sora's spells is also important, something I also did better in those games. Later on, I got used to his ledge timings, which made me able to abuse Sora's bad ledge game hard. I advanced to losers quarter. Next up, I had to fight BG Tao, aka Schmixtape, aka Tauri. We are good friends, so having to fight him in losers for 5th kinda sucked. He started off game 1 with Yoshi, and even though I don't have a lot of experience in the Yoshi matchup, I feel like Chrome does really well against him, so I was able to just kind of wall him out and push advantage really hard, especially on the second stock. After that, he ended up swapping to Wolf, which makes sense after he got bodied game 1. I stayed Chrome since I didn't really want to play Roy into Yoshi, even though that's a good matchup as well. I used to play Chrome against Wolf, but after my good friend from France, Orion, told me to play Roy into Wolf, I started doing exactly that. We played on Smashville, which is actually a good stage for Wolf in that matchup because of the center platform. It was a pretty back and forth game, with both of us getting early kills, but I made some dumb mistakes, like doing a really bad up-B on stage, so he ended up winning game 2. After that, I swapped to Roy, and we went to PS2. I felt like I was controlling the game for the most part, and I even had a really solid advantage state going on last stock, but he ended up reversal me once and getting a good advantage state himself, which led to me going down 2-1. I also hesitated going off stage in the end, which could have secured me the game, something that you can't afford to do in tournament. Tauri actually started off game 4 in a really scary way for me, getting a really early kill with Aftermash at the ledge. He had been conditioning me to neutral get up, since he hadn't punished me for it until now. After that, I puffed off though, getting 2 jab F smash kills and having a dominant last stock as well. We were going to game 5. It was a slopper knocker. We were going back and forth all game, just trading advantage states. After rewatching those games, I noticed how bad my disadvantage state was, mashing and drifting in all the time, something I definitely need to fix in the future. On the second stock, I got a really clutch parry down tilt into a charged F smash kill. I think if I hadn't gotten that, I would have probably lost the set. I had also been conditioning him to tech in since I hadn't punched it at all until that moment. We did end up going last stock, but I held it together pretty well and got a nice down tilt on his landing, which led to a tech chase F tilt. This episode was one of the most intense ones I've had in a while, and I would say many thought it was the set of the tournament as well. In losers semis, I fought Irefuse, the second best Steve in Sweden. I have actually coached him before, and he's a good friend of mine, so it sucked to play him as well. It was another pretty dominant set, since I've watched him play a lot, and I've played him a lot myself, so I know many of his habits. I felt like I won mostly because of the player versus player matchup, and not because I played the Steve matchup particularly well, something that I won't be able to abuse versus most other Steves. In losers finals, I fought Fifre, who was on a really good run as well. Like I said before, Jogi is one of my best matchups, and it showed well in this set. You can just see for yourselves. So after a 10-set losers run, I had made grand finals to fight the best player in Sweden, Big Chungus himself. I was starting to feel the fatigue from the previous sets, but I really wanted to make this run, so I tried my very best. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Even though I destroyed Chungus in one of the games pretty hard, Big Chungus played too solid and I lacked the Steve matchup knowledge. I noticed afterwards how badly he got away with minecarts, definitely my biggest weakness in the matchup, so I will need to grind the Steve matchup hard. Nothing but GG's to him though. He played solid all tournament and deserved the win.
Oh, he left. Still living Mysterio. Oh, never mind. We cursed it. The down smash pushing him away. Big Chungus is your hero.
Thank you everyone for watching the video. I know this video is pretty late as well, and it's only due to my laziness. Working on the script for these videos is always a bit hard. Next recap will be on Glory 3.0, the Spanish major featuring all of Europe's top players, and Chag, Big Boss, and many others. See you next time, guys.